Morning all, how are we all doing? Morning Danny, morning Andrew, morning Mumo, morning Mumble, morning Soul Trader, Comfortably Crumbs, FTNet, Robert, Joe, Paul, Marco, how are we all doing? It's Friday, non-farm payroll day as well. Big day today. So this afternoon we've got NFP unemployment rate for the US coming out at 1:30, which is an hour before market open. So we'll see how we get on with that one today. I don't think it's going to be a big one today. Maybe, might be. What's going on with the historical data? Why is that suddenly broken? I've been working on the website this morning. I've broken something. Lovely. It's always good when you break something in the morning, isn't it? Brilliant. Fix that later. So basically we got the Fed dropping rates at some point this month. The unemployment rate has been the thing they've been focusing on to decide whether or not they're going to do the rate drop. I don't think it's going to matter what that comes out as today. The market may well move heavily off of it. We don't know. We'll have to wait and see. But obviously be prepared for some volatility coming around 1:30. We've had retail sales for the pound this morning. Not really done an awful lot. If you look at the pound pairs, there's not really any movement this morning on those. There's a little bit of movement here, but I mean, it's not a big ADR move or anything exciting. We've got the Canadian unemployment rate as well, which comes out exactly the same time, 1:30. So everything really kicks off this afternoon there. IV PMI at 3 o'clock, half an hour after market open, but doesn't tend to do a lot. So those are the key focal points today. Is working. What's going on? Unemployment rate. Oh, there you go. It's working again. That was weird. I don't know. But yeah, I was just going to look at the last unemployment rates that we had. As you can see, the last one we got was basically forecast. Prior to that, we had that big drop in unemployment, and then prior to that, forecast as well. So we've had one good kind of news event over the last quarter, basically to do with unemployment rates, which has been why they've decided to drop those rates, because it seems like it's all going in the right direction. If this comes out at 4.4 or higher today, that's the only thing that could potentially scupper the plans for dropping interest rates. But I just don't think it's going to happen. Powell's under so much pressure from Trump to get those rates down. I just think it doesn't matter what these figures come out at. That doesn't mean the market won't react to them, though. We've got the ORB in, 5-minute ORB. Big bear move down on the DAX this morning to start with. So we are short. We are back basically just doing the gap fill to the close from yesterday. So yesterday on the indices, really good day. As you can see, big move up on the Dow. NASDAQ, very much the same. Big move up from the open. Nice day yesterday, decent profit. Got back all the loss from the previous day and a little bit more. So all going well there. But yeah, NASDAQ yesterday, very nice break. There was the long. Got out basically end of the day, just ground all day. Really, really, really nice little trend yesterday. Dow, very much the same. Got stopped out on the Dow, unfortunately. That was your long ORB on the 5-minute. It literally stopped me out by 2 or 3 pips and then absolutely flew. So just really unlucky on that one yesterday. Gold, nice trade on gold yesterday. No, it wasn't. Yes, it was. So that was the OLB on gold. Straight down to target at support. Bounced off support, got out the second half at pretty much break even. So nice ORB there. Didn't really go anywhere yesterday, gold, but anyway. Right, so we see where we go today. So downside targets today on the DAX. We are selling straight into potential resistance from yesterday. So we hit that again and stalled out. We did break through it before the close yesterday, but this is a very strong area which has now been broken through. So there is potential for that to act as support. It was an end of day breakout though in the last sort of hour. So potentially not a massive high volume move So that could well, and it looks like it is failing. We'll have to wait and see. But if we do break through this upside resistance, that's what we're looking at as our next downside support, which is down here. So there's plenty of room to the downside to go today. We'll see if that holds. If it does, obviously, we'll probably just sit around and bounce out from that area. But markets are a little bit more buoyant at the moment, a little bit more push in them, which is good. We've had this obviously big downtrend, but for the last couple of days, we've had some decent moves to the upside. So it doesn't look to me like at the moment that's going to hold though, does it? So we'll see where we go. But nice breakout to the downside. So we'll come back to that in a minute. Afternoon, morning even, Virginia, Sean, how we doing? Right, so just looking over the FX side of things. Yesterday, there was quite a lot of movement. Just go through the main sort of pairs, basically. Pound US dollar, no movement on that one yesterday. But there was a lot of movement around the euro. So euro and Swiss yesterday had quite big movements. The main reason for that, obviously, was yesterday we had the Swiss franc CPI numbers come out. They missed again. So it's another bearish move from the Swissy yesterday, that miss. So they're not having much luck at the moment in Switzerland with their inflation figures. Not really getting it right at all. So I think with the Swiss obviously having that drop, we saw a pop in the euro. I don't think that's something that's going to get continued. There's no real reason for strength in the euro, but that was the main sort of mover yesterday. We had a few ADRs hit yesterday. A lot of them did start to mean revert. Pound US dollar. No, what's the other one? There's a pound I was looking at. I can't remember which one it was yesterday. One of the ADRs yesterday, anyway. Pound New Zealand. It was. We had a really nice reversal that went in yesterday up there. I almost took this yesterday just as a quick scalp play. That mean reversion there. So we had that first reversal. I think that was ADR. This was, I think, 175 ADR yesterday. So when you get up to the 175 level, it's incredibly unlikely it goes further. There we go. We did 195 yesterday off of an ADR of 120. So 175 ADR, basically, reversal alert at 175 ADR was there. And that's where I basically looked at it. I thought, I'm not going to take it. It's too long, too far gone. I was looking for basically a retest of that, but it didn't happen. But yeah, so that's a nice little trade if you took that one yesterday. But yeah, there's loads of sideways movements still. We are still technically in summer trading, although the indices haven't looked like summer trading at all, have they, this year? But forex, as you can see, we are really, really stuck on most instruments at the moment. We're just stuck in these ranges. So I'm looking for that to break. At some point over the next sort of couple of weeks, we need a good catalyst to make that happen. But everything is totally sideways at the moment. So playing the range highs and range lows, RSI extensions to the upside and downside obviously should work at the minute. But at some point, we are going to get a movement which will break. And I think that's going to be when we drop those interest rates on the US dollar. So market at the moment sitting around very sideways. Australian dollar still moving, obviously, but just waiting for that US interest rate drop. We need a confirmation. When that happens, that's when I think the markets are all going to start to take off. We may well start to get back into some trends. So we'll have to wait and see what happens. But everything's sideways. So just look at those highs and lows for support resistance bounces. Any RSI extensions you get that happen to come near any support resistance from weekly or monthly levels, they're going to be very, very good opportunities at the moment. As you can see, it's just what we're having. So yeah. Anybody got any pairs they want to look at specifically, let me know. I'm not going to go through all the pairs today unless you want anything specific looked at. DAX, as you can see, we are very, very sideways long term. This is your downside, absolute downside monthly today. We're going to have to put in 175 ADR. Actually, going to have to put in 200 ADR to get down there. Very, very unlikely we're going to get down there today. But watch this previous day's high potentially. This is coming out of a propulsion gap. So if we are going to continue this downtrend, this is exactly where we should see that bounce happening. But we have had that reverse alert go in. So again, potentially that kind of movement. The other indices are very bullish at the moment. So just be aware of the support resistance levels. So break short, nothing particularly exciting to write home about there, is there? At the moment. Just want to refresh this. Just want to quickly see what that issue was with the chart. Taking a long time to load all of a sudden, isn't it? May have to upgrade my server. It's just a loading issue, isn't it? It's not going to help if I keep refreshing it, is it? Right. Okay, so DAX closed to the down, broken to the downside still. So we are holding up that resistance a little bit. So market is stalling out at that basically new support. So if we are not going to break short today, I want to look for where we're going to the upside. So upside targets, if this support holds, we're going to break long. You'd be looking at here. So around about the 23 or 24, 24 is up here, but sort of 23,980 level is your upside resistance, which is going to be kind of roughly 2R. And then we've got the gap fill. So basically, on Tuesday, where are we? Thursday, Wednesday, Tuesday. Tuesday, we gap down at the open. So there is a gap fill there. It could be that the market's going to rally up and get that gap fill done this week. So that would be your upside target. So watch this area here for potential. That's a previous resistance, turn support, broken through. So we'll turn the resistance next time. And then obviously gap fill. So there's plenty of upside movement in that area as a target if we do not break down. That would be where we'll be going upside. Good morning, Michael. Right, there we go. I haven't really got anything else to discuss today. So I'm still working on this website at the moment, and it's completely stuck for some reason. I might have to get this onto a dedicated server. I get the feeling this is going to start getting overloaded. It does a hell of a lot, this website. Yesterday, it's not even loading, is it? Yesterday, I finished off all the dashboards. So we've now got the ADR dashboard finished. I need to get a better server for this. This is I've got so much data in there now. So this is the ADR dash, basically. So equivalent to this. Basically ADR. So Aussie dollar CAD has hit ADR today. There we go. Aussie CAD hit ADR. Aussie US. I've got this set up on 75 just so I can test it a bit more. But yeah, so basically you've got all the data in there for the ADR dashboard. You can also hide the values so it looks a bit more like a power dash. I've set up a multi-time frame RSI dashboard. So this is measuring 5, 10, 5, 15, 30, hourly, 4 hourly and daily RSIs. I've got 5 power dashes set up for all the main time frames. So H4, H1, M30, M15, and the power dash basically is going from levels of 30, 70, 75, 25, 20, 80, 15, 85, and 10, 90. So the longer that line is across there, the more powerful and more recent the move is. So standard power power dashboard. So at the moment, pound New Zealand is the thing that's moving the fastest and the strongest. Okay, so got a big strong move going down there. So that just shows you the extension on the 5 minute there. This is actually the wrong. So I'm using a 10 RSI here. This is a 21. But yeah, that just basically shows you what's moving at the moment from mean reversion opportunities. It's got an alert system in it as well. So these are the alerts. So it'll ping, and I don't know if you heard the noise, but it makes a noise. So you can have alerts on these dashes as well. You've got to be watching the dashboard. And you can also set up your own dashboards as well. So you can go, I want a dashboard. I want it to be called blah, blah, blah. You can have it as a default. Create a dashboard. And then when your dashboard's created, you go into your dashboard and you can basically add whatever symbols you want. So you can have one that just monitors indices, for example. And you could say, I just want to monitor the stochastics for 5 minute and 15 and say hourly or something like that. So you can set up a multi-time frame stochastic dashboard. And then obviously you can see where everything is on stochastics, and then you can set up alerts in there as well. So you can set up alerts and say stochastic alert, and you select which ones you want, whether you want just bullish or bearish signals or all of them, and then it will give you in-app notifications when those levels are hit. So I built all that yesterday. So that's all part of the new members area, just so I can get these dashboards out of Terminal, basically. So anybody using TradingView, Tradeovate, any platform, basically, you don't have to be MT4, MT5. I just want to get as much as I can out of Terminal, just so that it's available on the web, and obviously anybody can use it on any platform with any instrument then. So that's all done yesterday. So still work in progress though. Let's go back and have a look at how we're doing. Okay, so we've broken through support. So upside resistance there has broken. So it's big, strong move down. We've had no buyers so far today, so I wouldn't be surprised if we do get a little bit of a pullback back above that level, but we'll see. Got a propulsion gap in there. Oh, there we go. So that's your propulsion gap upside. I must get that's next on my list, is get the SRP indicator fine-tuned for MT5 because it's far too slow at the moment. So that's your propulsion gap. Potentially, if you want to get in short and you've missed the break, that's where I would look at entering on a short. But hopefully, we will just tank down today. Off we go. Robert, I'm watching some of your old streams. Why did you used to only have M15 gaps on your charts? I don't remember only having M15 gaps. I don't know. The indicator runs on all time frames. I've never had it tuned to only show on one time frame. So it's always shown on all time frames. So the support resistance propulsion indicator that shows the propulsion gaps, it's on every time frame. I don't have it on one time frame. Never have done. Don't know. My preferred time frame for propulsion gaps is hourly. So the hourly propulsion gaps are where I look for targets. So that's downside target there, if I'm short. They're just very reliable because the hourly time frame, you've got much more sustained movement. To get an hourly propulsion gap, you've got a real strong rally of orders coming through from banks and institutions over a long, prolonged period of time within a day. Yeah. So in a day, you've got sort of key 3 or 4 hours in a day where the banks and institutions will move in each session. If you get a big, strong propulsion gap in an hourly time frame, they're very reliable as targets to the downside. So you tend to find they will act as flip zones a lot of the time, obviously. Yeah. So when all that is one big, strong propulsion move there. Yeah. So we sold out of it. We sold out of it. We sold out of it. Obviously, we hit it. We use them as targets, not as entries. But yeah. But it works on all time frames. They work on all time frames. They work on 1 minute charts. But you see how much noise there is. There's so much noise. There's so many levels on a 1 minute chart. You go up to a 5. There's so many levels. You go up to a 15. There's more levels, but it's not as bad. It's clearer. You come up to the hourly time frame. It's absolutely obvious that is a propulsion break above a resistance. Yeah. Big, strong order. So we're looking at the big boys placing big orders over a prolonged period of time. This is why I prefer the hourly time frame, because you've got clarity. Everything you trade on low time frames is chop. Yeah. So all this is algorithmic chop. There's one bank or in this list, like people like, oh, this is trending beautifully. A bank comes in with one large order of 500 million, pop, it's gone. You won't see that on an hourly time frame. Yeah. On an hourly time frame, there's a bearish engulfing gone in there, but it's just clear. It's just so much clearer the higher the time frame that you go. And when you go up to 4 hour time frames, it's obviously much, much, much clearer. Yeah. This is where the banks went long. This is where they added to their positions. They are still defending this area and adding more longs. This is where the banks broke that high with a propulsion move. This is where, if you are believing we are going to go long, you buy from. Clear. Yeah. Upside resistance, last month's high. Upside resistance, last week's high. That's it. There's no propulsion moves to the upside. So if this bounces from here, I would be watching that area there, but that would be my target, because this is the next area of resistance. Everything becomes clearer the higher the time frame that you go. But the trouble with H4 is, we're talking weekly moves here. So if you're looking to target that or that, you're looking at 2 or 3 weeks, maybe a week. This is a week, basically. So it's a much longer period of time to actually get anywhere, which is why I like the hourly. It's a sweet spot where you can get to places quickly within a week. I don't want to be holding stuff for weeks and weeks and weeks, ideally, which is why I think the hourlies. Everybody I know that makes money on the hourly, unless they're scalping. If they're scalping in 5 minutes, brilliant. But vast majority of people, you're going to find the hourlies where it is. Right, so we're down through support. Three, 6, 9, 12. So downside target, I'll be watching that. I'd be surprised if we get all the way there without pullback, but we'll see. Again, watch this propulsion gap. What's the source of the RSI and ADR data in the dashboard? This. So it's basically fed. All the data's fed from Robo Forex. I built an EA basically to feed data. There's loads of feeds out there. I don't want to be reliant on a third party. Basically, this is for me. And I don't want to be reliant on third-party data. The whole purpose of me building this whole system out is everything is singing off the same hymn sheet. Yeah. So I'm going to start trading on MT5. So I'm going to be trading on MT5. I'm trading on Robo Forex, and all the data I own here, I want from MT5 and Robo Forex. So when I look at this in here, and look at the levels and the data that's displayed in here, it's exactly the same as in my terminal. Yeah. So when I'm reacting to alerts on here, I'm reacting to my terminal, my platform, my broker, everything. The goal, ideally for me, is going to be to set up multiple feeds in here. So everything I'm feeding at the moment is Robo-Forex data. I can set up a feed for Global Prime. I can set up a feed for IG. I can set up a feed for any broker out there. Basically, we'll just have another database table with that broker's data in it. So you could, in fact, just select different broker data. And you'll see the timestamps in here. Yeah, so the timestamp there is 10:20 on the 5-minute chart. 10:20, it's that candle. So basically, that's the 10:20 candle. So the data in here is live on last close candle. Yeah. So if you're on Global Prime, your RSI feed, that M5 DAX might be showing for you at 23.99 or something, but it's so minimal, so marginal. The only time you really get a difference is if your broker has a different feed time. So, for example, my DAX here, as you can see on Robo-Forex, opens at 9 a.m. Other brokers will have data from 1 a.m. to 9 a.m. Yeah. So they will show candlesticks on their charts in the period where the market is shut. Yeah. That's fine if they want to do that, but it's estimated data. It's not real data. It's shut. Yeah. It's like a shop. It's shut. If it's shut, you can't get in. You can't get data. It's shut. They will approximate data based on over-the-counter transactions and other stuff that's going on intrabank, which is fine. They will all do that, and they will all give roughly the same data beforehand. But this data here from 9 a.m. for me is the data that my RSI is calculated on. If your broker has data from 1 to 9 that does that, your RSI is going to be different to mine because your RSI is calculated on different data. Your ADR calculation will be different to mine because it's calculated on different data. Stochastics, moving average, everything is calculated on data points. If your data points include 9 hours more data than my broker, your data points are not going to be the same as mine. Yeah. So I think what I might do with this is find a broker that has pre-market data for DAX. These guys, this is really one of the only things that is affected by this. We've got Globex for these three indices. Every broker on the planet has exactly the same data. It's all from the Chicago Mercantile Exchange. No one's different. Yeah, futures is the same as CFDs. It's a different price, but the movement's the same. All indicators will be roughly the same on all of these. All FX, exactly the same on all brokers. There's no broker that doesn't show the same hourly data for that. This is the only thing that's really different, because if you've got an index that opens at 7 a.m., some brokers will pretend there was trading before then. There wasn't. But that's basically the only instrument that's different. So everything else you see on here, readings-wise, with all indicators, should be virtually the same for everybody. Yeah. My broker is UTC +2. Most brokers are UTC +2. So it should be the same. I've really got to get a decent server for this. This is crap. This is taking far too long to calculate. So if we look at this, let's look at the RSI ADR dash, for example. So the DAX is 238 ADR. DAX 237.7. Yeah, so this is the same. It's just rounded up on my dashboard. This dashboard goes to one digit. If we look at Aussie dollar CAD is 45.2 on the ADR dash. Aussie dollar CAD is 45.2. So, I don't do decimals on here, but this is exactly the same as you will find here. Yeah. So all I'm doing is I'm moving this out and sticking it online so that you can access it from anywhere in the world without a terminal. That's purely it. Okay, so just starting to pull back on the DAX. Watch that upside. We have actually got another propulsion gap here, which we are in now. That is also a propulsion gap. So basically that one big propulsion gap here. So this could well just be a flag. But if we do pull back further, we're looking up there for a retest. So do you think the MRA dash could also be moved out of terminal? No, because it's a complex calculation. It's not a standard indicator. Not moving the market reversal. I don't use the market reversal indicator anymore for much, personally. I mean, I do, but I said to build this on the web is going to take me weeks. Just not practical. Not enough usage for it. It's specific to me. No one else uses this apart from people that trade with me or follow the stuff that I do. If you go and talk to anybody who trades futures, they won't even know what this is. There's no point. I'm not creating a dashboard that is for specifics. I'm creating something that's universally usable. I think it's a mistake to go totally MT5. All the reasons for MT4 superiority still apply. Up to you. Most of your customers will be on MT4. No, they're not. That's incorrect. They're on MT5. Don't forget, I have a unique advantage. I can see statistics of sales on MQL5 and on my own website. I can tell you now that there are more people now purchasing for MT5 than there are for MT4. It's the majority. I'm going with the majority. That's the decision. So, MT4 is great. There's nothing wrong with it. But if I stay on MT4, basically, what I'm doing is preaching to the minority. What's the point? Might as well preach to the masses. There's no point in staying on MT4 because it's a minority platform now. MT5 is as good as MT4. It's just more quirky. That's all. But MT4 is basically, if you want to do all of my coding for me for free, that's fine. But look at it from my point of view. When I build an indicator or an EA, I have to spend twice as long doing it if I do it for MT4 and MT5. They're different languages. They're not compatible. You have to program it again. So I can either spend my life doing twice as much work in one platform, or I can spread it over two platforms and do half as much work. What would you do as a business? The productive thing, which is concentrate on what everybody else is doing, which is MT5. Brokers now are dropping MT4. Some brokers you can't use MT4 on. Prop firms can't use MT4. They are phasing it out. It's something that hasn't been happening, but it's accelerated over the last 12 months. And the reason it's accelerated is because of prop. Yeah. Everybody's jumping on this prop bandwagon and thinking, I'm going to make £1 million. They're all obviously giving millions to prop and not making a penny. But MT5, if you're trading with a CFD prop, most of them don't do MT4. They do MT5. And this is what's, I think, driving this change between flipping over from MT4 to MT5 is the masses who are doing these stupid prop evaluations and thinking they're going to become millionaires. They're all using MT5. So, and it's just because a prop firm has startup costs. If you want to get a license for MT4 and MT5 from MetaQuotes, it costs you as a prop firm twice as much money to set up. That's the reason. So if you're going to go with one, you go with the one that offers the most platforms. If you want to offer futures as well as CFDs, they're all CFDs, but if you want to offer CFDs in futures, you go MT5. That is literally, I think, what is driving this change. As I said, I've looked at the statistics over the last 3 years, and it's gone from 80% MT4 to just under 70% MT4. And this year so far, it's just about 51% MT5. Yeah. So in the last 12 months, it's flipped on its head. And I reckon next year we'll be looking at probably 60% superiority on MT5. So, there's no point in me doing this. I'm never going to win this argument, because what I will do is whatever I pick, someone will want the other thing. Right now, it's like Brexit. Yeah. It doesn't matter whether you're for Brexit or against Brexit. Roughly, it was 51%, wasn't it? Yeah. So if you go out and ask 10 people what their opinion is, half of them are going to give you one, half of them are going to give you the other. If you're on that camp, you're wrong with that, guys. If you're on that camp, you're wrong with that, guys. I've got to pick one. Or I just do half as much work, but I'd rather do twice as much work on one platform. That's all it is. But if you think it's a mistake, that's fine. You stick on MT4. That's not a problem. Just bear in mind that when I release the next product, which is going to be phenomenal, which is a 1-minute scalping system, it's going to be great. It's on MT5 only, so you can't use it. Simple as that. But anyway, we will see. I might eat my words and I might be back on MT4 in 3 months' time. I don't know. I've been using it for... I've been trading on it for sort of 6 weeks now with ORB. It's absolutely spot on, not a problem. So I'm, at the minute, I'm not too worried. So we got that. The big propulsion move at the open is here. Obviously, this is the second propulsion move on the 5-minute break. So this whole area here is where we started selling today. So if you missed the open, obviously there's the entry, but that's your entry right now. If we're going to continue short, this is where I would expect to see some sellers starting to kick in now. But we will see. So no one's got any FX pairs they want to look at. That's fine. We'll leave that today then. I'm back this afternoon at 2:30. So this afternoon, obviously, bear in mind, we've got 1:30, we've got the unemployment rate. So this is where you're going to get the big moves in this afternoon. 1:30. When we start the new kind of stream schedule, I'm going to be doing news trading as well. So somewhere around about 1:45, you can start looking for break opportunities on that. But I will cover that when I get around to getting the content written for it. But yeah, so I'll be back on at 2:30 for the open as normal. Just be careful this afternoon with the US indices. Obviously, with non-farm payroll and unemployment rate, we tend to get a massive move on the stock indexes quite often, which is obviously an hour before the open. So when you get the open, if you've had a big, strong ADR move off of unemployment rate, you quite often find that the open just does this because the entire volume has been pumped through over the news event. Yeah, so there's no volume left at the open. They do all the volume over the news. So just bear that in mind. So if you've got a big move which is held, you'll probably find we don't do an awful lot. Big connection problems on MT4 at the moment for some reason. There you go. See, look, MT5, we're sitting here. Everything's working absolutely fine. What's going wrong? MetaTrader 4. Disconnecting all the time. MT5 is now God. We will see. I've been on MT4 for 20 years, so this is a big move for me, moving over onto MT5. But as I said, I'm comfortable with where they are with it now. I'm feeling a little bit more like, it's less buggy now. Like I said, there's been one bug in the last 12 months that's been a biggie. Other than that, and they fixed it within 24 hours. So other than that, don't think it's a problem. You constantly said MT4 was better. Yeah. Yeah. You constantly said MT4 was better. I still think MT4 is better. Yeah. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying MT4 is not better. MT4 is far superior to MT5 from a backtesting perspective, a data perspective, a stability perspective, a speed perspective. It's far superior. What I'm saying is you are a minority and you will be gone within a few years. At some point, you've got to shift from Windows 10 to Windows 11 because they're going to stop supporting Windows 10. Yeah. When do you do it? I've just decided to do it now. If you don't want to do it, fine, don't do it. I've decided to do it now. But I'm not saying it's better or worse. I think MT4 is better than MT5. But as somebody that develops commercial software, I have to go with what the people want. The people want MT5. So I have to use MT5. I'd be a hypocrite if I said, I'm only going to program for MT5. MT5 is the best thing in the world. And then I used MT4, wouldn't I? I just want everyone singing on the same hymn sheet, basically. Again, so you're going to get different entries on MT5 and MT4, dependent on your processing power, all sorts of things like that. Your broker feed is different in MT4 to MT5. You're going to get different price data. There's all sorts of differences, but they're all very minimal. But, it doesn't matter. If I moved over to TradingView, doesn't mean TradingView is better than MT4 or MT5. They're all just different. Don't get hung up on details. But I have got to do more work on some of the indicators on MT5, unfortunately, because they're not as good. Just a different graphical user interface, but you get used to it. It's like anything. When you use it for a period of time, you get used to it. I'd still rather backtest an MT4. So that propulsion gap, market's just blown straight through it. So there is potential for this to be a false move this morning and just going to flip higher, but we'll see. Fair bit of volume. We're nice strong moves, but this looks like a reversal out of support to me. So we're just coming basically out of here. We've basically batted into this area. We broke the upside support, although they did try and hold it, but failed. So that's your second support. Third area is down here. So we'll see if this initial open holds. Vive le see. So will you give me your MT4 products I paid for based on your advice? No. No. If you want to use MT5, use MT4. It's the same thing. God, picky. There's nothing wrong with MT4. God, I'm comparing a BMW to a Mercedes, right? They're both premium cars. Yeah, you pick one, right? If you go into a BMW dealer and buy a BMW because somebody's advised you to buy a BMW, and then they decide to chop their BMW in and buy a Mercedes, you don't get the BMW for free. It's not how it works. Oh, I'll give up. Right, I'll leave it there. Basically, the the resistance today, first propulsion's failed, second propulsion's there. So we'll see how we get on. Looks to me like this might be one of those sessions where we do that. We've got non-farm payroll coming up, so it may be that they just don't want to put any moves in today, but we will see what happens. So yeah, basically we'll be back this afternoon at 2:30. We'll trade the New York session. Potentially, I'm going to see how we get on with the non-farm. So just watch that 1:30. If you've got massive moves on the indices, then obviously we may not have any volume left. So I'll be back 2:30 to trade the New York Open. 1:30, obviously watch out for news. DAX looks like it might be a choppy session. So this could be one of those break long. So basically the idea today, if we're going to go into rotation, is all we're going to do is just do that and that and that and that, which basically will take us up to non-farm payroll, which basically means 2 stop outs. So we'll see where we go, but it doesn't seem like the market really wants to be particularly strong in one direction or the other today. So, all right, so anything you need, let me know. I'll be in Discord or Telegram back at 2:30 this afternoon, and we'll see how we get on with non-farm. All right, have a good day, and I will see you then.